So many people don't understand or know why Dodge is going to be getting rid of those Hemi engines. You know, they got legal reasons, and you know, it's the way of the future. Everyone's moving to turbochargers or electric engines. You know, Dodge, as well as every other brand, wants to stay competitive and work on their technology, because let's face it, the V8s, these Hemi V8s have kind of reached the maximum potential as far as efficiency for the new age of customers, new age of drivers, and what their expectations are. So what Dodge did was they came up with the Dodge Charger SCATPACK Last Call Edition for the Challenger and Charger, because they're doing away with the 5.7, the 6.2, and the 6.4. SCATPACK being the 6.4 liter Hemi engine. People think that 392 means that that's how much torque it comes with. That's completely wrong, because this is a 6.4 liter. It'd be kind of old school if it only came with 392 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. That's wrong. This is the level of the displacement right here, because this is the SRT Hemi 392 6.4 liter. So that's 392 cubic inch engine, right? Because the 5.7 is 350, right? Or 345, rounded up to 350. Let's just pop this hood. First off, it comes with a functional vent right there. Now the 392 lets you see what the intake manifold looks like. Now if you look down here, it's kind of got the classic orange engine block down there. That's old school right there, but they kept that up with these right here, because like I said, this is the last call version, right? Because they're not going to be making these no more in these. I'm at Earnhardt Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Gilbert, Arizona. I mean, they got a wide selection of different kind of cars that they got here. Yes, some of the vehicles are going to be getting rid of the Hemi engines, but some of them, they're going to be keeping the engines. For example, the Grand Wagoneer still has options where it comes with the Hemi engine, or you can get the Hurricane engine, as well as you got the Dodge Durango that's got a Hemi engine in it. That's going to be keeping that for a few more years. So some of the lineups are going to be retaining them, but when it comes to their performance-y sport cars, they're going to be getting rid of the Hemi engine. So that's the 5.7, the 6.2, and the 6.4. Like this one right here. Now you see the difference between the 392 Hemi engine, the way that it looks, the way that they display the intake manifold, and you can still see everything. That's the way a lot of people like it. A lot of enthusiasts, they prefer to be able to see the guts and the meat of the engine, versus the 5.7 has the big old cover on top of here, the big goofy cover that you see on here. I see it on top of the Durango as well. This comes standard with the 5.7 liter. It's not until you move to the 392 or the Hellcat where you can actually see the real meats and the guts and glory of the engine. Stay tuned. Cold start on it. You hit the lock. There we go. Quick little startup. It doesn't have the loudest motor available, but you get a lot of that throatiness that still comes through. It's not like muted like the 5.7 liter Hemi would be on like a Dodge Durango or something. The 5.7, 6.4, and the 6.2 are performance-oriented engines on a performance-oriented platform. So the Charger and Challenger are performance cars. They have performance exhausts. Legally, the government likes to put a lot of that stuff into play, you know, so you're gonna get a lot more emissions output. I can smell it already from a Hemi being in this vehicle compared to a Hemi being in one of the other vehicles, because they put a lot more emissions controls into those vehicles opposed to these ones. The only way you can get that sound is when you put the performance exhaust in to let that sound come out. So when you let that sound come out, you get a little bit more emission smell coming out of there too as well. Of course, we're going to get a better look at everything. I'm going to let you guys see all the little quirks and perks of everything about this. But as far as the other multimedia systems right off the back, when it comes to Dodge, this little smaller screen size, this one's my favorite. I don't know if it's the software that comes in it or what, but I like the responsiveness of this one. This one is like really good. First thing you notice is the bolster. The other SCATPACK I did was a Dodge Challenger, and that one had like the leather seats. It had the SCATPACK emblem on the seat right here. But you know, other than that, it seems like pretty much everything else in here is almost the same. Though on the Challenger, it seemed like things are a little bit more oriented towards me as a driver. So like this whole cockpit display, everything was like kind of slightly angled towards me, kind of like how the Corvette is, but just slightly. You know, I think that's just because it's a coupe versus this is a sedan. But I'm gonna see if it really makes a difference when you get on the road. But looking at here, there's launch control and everything. So I put it in sport mode. I think I was talking about this before. I think track mode is oriented more straight line track opposed to a curvy track. It doesn't really specify on it, but I'm going with the fact that because I know that this vehicle is only rear wheel drive, these vehicles can get tail happy, and that's how you can crash. So I'm gonna put it in sport mode because that's gonna be like the most realistic one. You know, most people aren't gonna be going to the track driving these cars, and if they're going to the track, more than likely they're trying to drive on a track that's not meant to drive on. It's got a good sound to it inside here. Okay, first off, the first thing you notice being in this car compared to like the Challenger SCATPACK is there's a lot more visibility. I can see over here, I can see in the back. It's just because, you know, it's not so sporty driver oriented. It's more like you can get your friends and possibly family in this vehicle. You know, there's a lot more space, a lot more storage in here. Now you can tell me your opinion on this vehicle if you want in the comments down below, but I know some people who own Chargers and Challengers of the same vehicle, they put them side by side, and people have liked the way that the Charger sounds a little bit more opposed to the Challenger. I think it's just because of the way that the exhaust system has to be a little bit longer because the vehicle itself is slightly longer because this is a 4-door sedan opposed to a 2-door coupe. Not deeper necessarily, just a slightly different tone. Let's see. And keep in mind, I'm in sport mode, all right? Something I like about this multimedia system is when you're in sport mode or your driver's mode, you can see all the different parameters of the engine, you know, see what's going on. Whoa, okay. That's some good acceleration right here. Woo! I gotta watch out for the truck. Can't get too happy. Complete side note, I was in Durango RT. This gives you a different feeling. The Charger, man. Yes. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. You can definitely feel that power. Now remember, this is a 6.4 liter Hemi. This is not the 5.7. So you know the old saying, there's no replacement for displacement. But the 6.4 allows more potential for the engine. So if you decide to do a little bit of tuning, a little bit of modification, you already got right off the back, you got more displacement with this vehicle. More than likely it's the cylinder size is bored out a little bit more and pumped out the 6.4, so it's got the same size engine block as the 5.7, but the cylinder itself, the pistons are bigger, pushing out to 6.4. A lot of people think that 392 on the side means 392 foot-pounds torque or 392 horsepower. That's wrong. 392 is the cubic inches of the engine. That's the displacement. And for a big V8, you would expect more than 392. So this vehicle's actually in the 400s, way over 450 horsepower and 450 foot-pounds torque, more like closer to 470. I'll put the numbers up on the screen right here, but it drives really nice though. Like, I'm surprised how nice it drives. Woo! Oh gosh. And it has no problem getting sideways if you want to a little bit. That's just something that comes with the Hemi. That's what it's meant to get you exhilarated. That's why you can get a Hemi and a Durango, but you can't do that kind of stuff in a Durango like you can do in this. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to the Hemis, the SRT 392s, the Hellcat. All that's going away for Chargers and Challengers. Unless you're gonna buy the engine crate, you ain't gonna be able to get it no more. Let's look at the other stuff that will still remain. It comes with breathable vents right here, as well as, in my opinion, the grille is pretty cool. I like the way these little yellow bumpers come on here. It can be removed, but I think it's a nice little stylistic touch to it. It also comes with eagle eye right there. Sort of like the driver safety features right there. And you got a big SCATPACK badge. When you look at it, this is like a B right here, a B with like an engine on his back with some big old racing tires right here, because this comes from the whole era of, you know, the muscle car era, you know, American Muscle V8. You got to make your voice deep and stick your lip out, American. But if you look at some of the other features, it comes with 4-piston Brembo brakes. You see, notice the size, big 4-piston Brembo brakes in the front. And then when you go around to the back, the 4-piston Brembo brakes it's still 4-piston, but this is like a smaller version. For obvious reasons, you need most of your stopping power to be in the front. Another SCATPACK emblem, and to open the trunk, there's no lever, it's just a button. Pop that open, opens nice and controlled. It doesn't open very slowly. Comes with plenty of space in the trunk. Also, when you open this up, you see the battery here in the trunk. You got a compressor for your tires and a little extra storage container right here. See, there's plenty of space in the back, more than enough space in the back seat, because this is actual 4-door car, you know, so it's an actual full-size sedan vehicle, but it's like a performance sedan. So what that means, it comes with a couple of cup holders in the back here, but there's no climate control, so just your vent control right here, and then a couple of USBs right here for power. Hopping in the passenger side seat it's pretty dang comfortable in here, but something I want to know is a couple of these details in here. The 392 badge with the tiny little B right there, as well as I want to note like the way that this feels right here. Now, first off, you got like leather here on the doors, and this part right here is this is like really like soft, very, very, very cushioned right here. And then right here, this is gonna be plastic. It's like a plastic color right here. And then you got cloth with like a nice little stitching right here. But what the cool thing is, the way this part feels. This feels kind of standard, but right here, this whole dashboard has like a superior, like crazy kind of grip. Like this isn't plastic at all. This right here, plastic, but this right here, this is like some kind of like rubber feeling type stuff right here. This like you can really feel the grip right here on here. It feels almost like the rubber on your shoe or something, but like as if it was like cranked up the notch on quality type. Something I've noticed across Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram is the interior of their vehicles has like a pretty good build quality. It's not like some Japanese cars where it's kind of like rinky and plasticky feeling. Like it feels like really good. Like now there are some good Japanese cars, but some Japanese cars, I don't want to name any brands, but some of them, they feel a little cheesy inside of them, as well as some American cars too. But they did this Detroit built car, they did a pretty good job with them. Check out the multimedia system. Turn that on. You got XM radio, you got climate control, regular controls, apps. Let's see, SRT mode. What's that? SRT mode. That must be the driver modes. Navigation. You got a full screen phone and settings. The responsiveness of the multimedia system is pretty good. Not the very best I've experienced, but it's pretty darn good. And here you got a little storage container right here. 2 USB ports and an auxiliary right there, as well as, in case you're a change hoarder like me, you can keep it in there nice and organized. This is much better than me. I would have just do it in the tray, you know, but it's nice that they got that, you know, in case you're real organized. As well as a 12-volt DC down there, same as the one right here. I'm going to the driver's side so I can check out these driving modes and let you get a little better experience. If you're wondering how much it costs, the base price is $48, and then this one optioned up is $52. This is the 8.4-inch multimedia display system. I'll start it up so you can see everything that really comes with. Climate control. Looks pretty good. Like I said, real response. See that? It's more responsive now that the car is on. There's a mirror dimmer, heated steering wheel, and heated seats. It's weird that you don't have an option for heated seats or steering wheel down here, but it does have them up here inside the multimedia system. That's kind of inconvenient. Apps. Check out SRT mode. When you go to SRT mode, that basically allows you to go in there into the settings, you know, check everything out. Driver modes, auto, custom, so you can adjust certain things the way you want them to be adjusted. Track. Or instead of just going through all that, you just push the button right here. Drive modes, the same thing, but it brings you to a little slightly different dashboard. See how it looks like right here? Engine holding RPMs. You can check your engine parameters while you're driving. So you got a performance pages. You can see, so when you're driving, you can see your horsepower that you're outputting, but you see what gear you're in. Also the G-force for the direction that you're going in. And if you want to add a widget, there you go right there. So it's kind of like a smartphone. And you see there's different things, home, timers, gauges, so you can see oil temperature, oil pressure, battery voltage, coolest temperature, G-force if you want to just hone in on that, engine, got dyno modes, you see how much horsepower and torque. And might I add that this is the most current, most modern version of this engine available. So this being the last call, if you want one of these engines, you should grab it now. Otherwise, your options are going to be just a pre-owned one, or in the future, it's going to be electric or a Hurricane engine option. And to be completely honest, I'm really looking forward to those new engine options. Some people are opposed to the future, I'm not. Plenty of available space inside this car, as well as a nice sounding engine. I did notice that it doesn't sound like the exhaust has different modes for the sound. So like when you change different modes, the exhaust sound doesn't change, just the engine itself, as far as the computer outputs that is putting out to the engine. That's the only thing that changes. Got a couple extra little features up here. Nice lights, sunglass holder, and visor with a slip out right there for the extra sun. Little mirror with a light. And of course the steering wheel controls that little screen right there. And when you look up here, you see in the top right corner of the screen, when you switch your modes, you can see that it switches track mode, electronic stability control, track. Same thing with sport, if you wanted to customize it or whatever. So you can keep track of all the stuff you've done. You can see last times, lap history, top speed, 0 to 60 timer, 0 to 100 timer, reaction timers, a bunch of little timers and stuff, G-forces. So driver assist, cruise control, that's what that lens in the front of the bumper is. And like I said, cruise control adjustability right here. That's what the buttons are right here. All right, so you may be wondering if this vehicle is for you. For anyone who gets this one, know that this one's kind of like a special edition because this one's the last call. This one is like the last version of the Hemi SRT engines, you know, that comes in a Challenger or Charger. You know, they're not going to be making these engines anymore. So next year it's going to have a different one. It's not going to have the same thing. So if you're someone who likes to think in investing terms, in the future, this vehicle could be potentially worth a lot more money because it's the last one. Because in the future, they're going to be moving up with the future. You know, you gotta modernize your engine. Just like everyone else is modernizing, it's competition. The dealerships and the brands have to compete with each other. So this vehicle is for someone who wants to get a little piece of history, who wants to get that last bit of the most modern version of the American muscle cars. Ideally, I would suggest this car to be for someone who is not into Hellcats or who doesn't want as much power as a Hellcat has to offer. If you want a moderate amount of power without going crazy, without breaking the bank, without blowing your doors off, it's going to be great for a lot of people because it comes with more than enough power for the typical driver. This has been Slayers Media Cool Whips. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from this video. And also make sure you give me a like and subscribe, especially if you stayed this long in the video. Anybody who comes down to Earnhardt Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, this is what you're going to see when you pull up. You're going to see the big old Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler with the Earnhardt right there on top. You see they got a whole bunch of selection, a good inventory, a whole bunch of good vehicles to choose from. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.